And it looks like we're live. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Uncommitted Podcast. You might notice we're kind of in a different location right now, and this is a female. We haven't had a female guest yet.
Yep.
This is my sister, Grace. But yeah, to give you guys some backstory, we're on a family vacation right now. So this episode, it's all about kind of like family stuff. So I'll get my mom, and we'll talk about, stuff about family, ask some existential questions that I've wanted to ask for a while, honestly. We kind of got into it a little bit earlier when I was asking mom if she ever tried psychedelics. So yeah, that's where we're at. Hopefully you guys enjoy. I'm your host, Dan Sarmiento. I haven't done that. I haven't said that yet. I'm your host.
Make it a thing.
I'm your host. But yeah, here we are, Uncommitted Podcast, episode 5, with my sister, Grace. So, I don't know. I'll give it away to you. Introduce yourself a little bit.
I'm Grace. I'm Dan's little sister. I'm 15. I'm going to be a sophomore in high school at Exeter. And I'm pretty hyped up to be on the show.
Yeah, Grace.
Thank you for inviting me.
What is that noise? Grace was a little nervous. So we're actually
freaking out.
We're in Santa Monica right now, and we're kind of like in the city a little bit. So you kind of hear some, like, I woke up at 2 a.m. the other night and someone was just yelling.
She was screaming
outside the window.
and like music.
But yeah, we're out here on the West Coast. We were in Arizona and then Nevada and then California. So we're out here, but that doesn't matter because we're doing the Uncommitted Podcast, episode 5. So sheesh. I don't even know where to start, honestly. Like, Grace is very similar to myself in a sense, but I think she's a lot cooler than I was when I was 15, so you're welcome for that. Yeah, I think you're a lot cooler than I was.
Really?
Yeah, because for a lot of reasons. Music especially. Your music taste is much more mature. Not mature, but established than mine was.
Because I get it from you. I get a lot of music from you.
Who do you listen to?
A lot of
Like
people.
Tyler. Who's
right now,
your top 5?
I really like Childish Gambino from you. Like, Because the Internet is one of my favorite albums. I
T.I.,
like...
baby.
Yeah. I think about that album every day.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, I love it so much. I also really like Taylor Swift because I only like it because I couldn't listen to explicit music when I was at camp, so they only play Taylor Swift.
Really? They didn't let you listen to explicit music at camp?
They yelled at you. You only had like a little iPod with Spotify.
That's whack.
Yeah, so I listened to a lot of folklore.
Oh, you know what I had? So remember in Griffin's podcast? Oh, you didn't even. Grace doesn't even watch the podcast. I looked up existential questions. So I kind of wanted to do that
saw the
again.
beginning.
Yeah, I kind of want to do, but different ones.
Okay.
So, oh man, I had a good list and everything. Okay, let's go from right here. We're just gonna start. We're gonna start here. I'd love to see. So I'm excited to see your perspective on life versus my perspective. Then I can kind of compare it to how I thought when I was 15. I really don't remember that much, but we'll get right into it.
Yeah.
So, first existential question about life: does life have a purpose? I'll take the floor since you think about it, and I'll take the floor. I think the purpose is in what you put into it, right? So
Definitely.
You could say, I mean, a lot of people I hear a lot of times, like, the nihilistic point of view is like, well, life has no meaning, so nothing matters. Which in a sense, like, okay, you could say that nothing matters, but do you really know that nothing? Like, what matters is everything around us, but it's also what you give meaning into. That didn't make sense at all.
It's definitely no, I get it. Like, it's like your mindset like plays a big role in it because you could just say that you're living on like a floating rock and say that it doesn't have any meaning.
Yeah, because that's it's true.
But like what's what we know. But like
as far as we know, we know that's true. But who really knows? Like,
but like I think if you like give it a purpose and you like put yourself out there and like create stuff, I think it does. I think it has like meaning.
I think the so far my purpose, yeah, as if I know I'm saying like so far what I take out of the question, does life have a purpose? Like I said, it's what you put into it. And for me, that's just been like helping other people. That's what I think is the most important thing because we're, especially where we are as a society and as a country and as a human race, I feel like we're all so confused and scared about the unknown. And instead of helping each other, we're kind of selfish and we go after what we want.
Yeah.
Money, power, fame in a sense, or like just really money and power is like the two, freedom. And those things are freedom, right? Because as a society, we kind of like put things into boxes. And if you get the short end of the stick, well, you get the short end of the stick. And sometimes no one's going to come and help you.
Yeah.
And then you look at other types of like animals where it's like they're all in this together. High School Musical. Like they're literally like elephants are very advanced species, like dolphins, same thing. Dolphins are a very advanced species.
Yeah.
And they're like, sure, there's outcasts, but it's like, there isn't like poverty, like there's not lions. No. There's not like poverty classes and stuff like that. It's like they're dolphins. They're all dolphins. They're all
exactly.
like there might be smarter leaders. There's like alphas and omegas and all that stuff, but it's like they're just
the same thing.
They're trying to help each other. From what I know, I don't know. My knowledge about elephants and dolphins doesn't go very far, but for the most part, yeah. So this one follows to say, if the answer is no, What is the purpose of living? Some say that we are given the freedom to choose our own purpose. Do you believe this to be true, or do you think our existence is a result of coincidence? I think saying the existence is the result of coincidence is kind of like, how would you know? I mean, you can have that like the Big Bang, and we were just made, and we just somehow got really lucky. I don't know if you could say lucky, but lucky to have the type of brain and whatever the functions that humans have. I don't know. I think it's I think to sum it all up, I might change over time, but I'm doing a lot of talking. I kind of want to get your opinion too, but I think it's what you put into it is what
I
you
like
get out of
agree
it.
because like I can't think of it any other way because like you could
It's depressing if you do.
yeah
'Cause you're
exactly.
like, well,
you
all
have
right,
to
I'll
have
just kill
like
myself then.
yeah
It's
exactly
like,
like there's no
can't.
point of living
You're
if you
here.
don't put a purpose into it.
Right.
Like you could
Right.
and it wouldn't make a difference if you died because like everything would just keep going. So you gotta put yourself out into the world and do something because like
yeah.
you don't really know why you're here. So like you might as well just like make the best.
Yeah,
of
might
it.
as well help the people who are
Yeah.
confused. Like we're all confused. I want help. I want to give help. I want to help other people in areas that I know more than them, and I want people to help me in areas where they know more than me.
Yeah.
To kind of understand life.
Yeah.
Because I feel like understanding gives you clarity, and clarity gives you peace of mind.
Yeah.
And knowing more
Yeah.
about what is what. Are our lives fated? Fated, like fated. If so, can we truly have free will? That's a good one because like
Fated?
fate, like
Do we have like a
Like is
Like a
what's
destiny?
gonna happen no matter what, or are we actually in
Oh.
control of our? That one I think about all the time. Like,
yeah.
but then you think like, it like there's no it's it's like a paradox. It's like, okay, so our lives are made or driven by fate or whatever. Like I guess driven by fate would be the right term. What was I gonna say? So like our life's driven by fate, but does that even mean that like so if I say okay I'm gonna stop doing everything, does that mean that was gonna happen anyway?
gonna change
So you're like,
anything?
oh,
Yeah.
life doesn't matter, so I'm gonna kill myself. It's like
You're gonna end up dying anyways. So
yeah,
like, what's the
I don't
point
know.
Of, like, making
I
it?
kind of lost my train of thought there, but yeah, you get what I mean. Like, what do you?
You could just like go down like such a deep hole with that. Like
well,
just
like
talking about
I
that.
think the right word is a paradox, where it's like, you answer it with something, with a question that has to be, you have to ask another question, answer that one, to ask another
Yeah.
question. Like, what is the meaning of life? It's like, well, to live. Well,
Yeah.
like, what is the meaning of living? Well, it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it just keeps
You know what I mean? It's. I think a paradox is the right. If we had a Jamie is the guy in Joe Rogan that like Google stuff in the middle of the podcast,
Yeah.
try to like give him like pictures and clarity and stuff. If we had a Jamie, I'd be able to tell you. But okay,
We do not.
What is one thing that every human should get to experience in their life? That's.
I feel like a basic answer is love, but I
Yeah.
feel like you experience love with like family. Like it doesn't have to be like a romantic thing. Like
yeah.
I think people think too much about that.
What is one thing that every human should get to experience in their life? Yeah, like love, yes.
You can also
but
say like happiness, but like
yeah,
happiness is just like a
joy.
feeling.
I don't know. I'd say fulfillment. I'd say probably
Satisfaction?
satisfaction,
I like
fulfillment,
that, yeah.
contentness. Like, all right, I did what I could do, and I'm happy with the results.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's crazy how everybody is brought up in a different background, so our values are much, much different. Even people who are very similar, our values are different in different ways. Like, we might have the same political beliefs. We might, want to, I don't know, do similar jobs, but it's like what we get happiness out of and fulfillment might
Yeah.
be like completely different. So, yeah. All right, we'll keep going. I guess this is kind of existential questions part 2, but it's really
Yeah.
not because I told Griffin we would do existential questions part 2. This is more like family. We'll bring Mom in for a few of these. I'll bookmark a couple of these so we can bring Mom in and ask her take on it. But
I really am curious.
Yeah, are we
Right.
given enough time?
Ooh.
These ones are like
This.
I could just say I don't know to all of these. Like,
Well, you don't know. Like that's
yeah,
the thing.
it's
It's
true,
just
yeah.
like based on like your theories, but are you given enough time?
Depends on the person. I feel like if you're a baby and you die, it's like, nah, you didn't even get to experience life. But then you could look at someone like who dies young, and then it makes other people be like, oh, I gotta get my shit together. Like,
yeah, like
I
gives
could
them like
die
motivation.
now.
Yeah, exactly.
And then so it's like, like martyrs, where it's like someone died for a cause and it sparked change through like
Yeah.
tons of people. So it's like, and then you ask, oh, was that person's purpose their whole life to be a martyr, or to be someone who was like,
I hate that. I hate thinking about that. That's
yeah,
too much.
and then it's fate, and then it talks
It
about
is
fate.
not-
It's like,
I
well,
like
was
it.
his
It's
fate
too
to be a
much.
martyr? You know what I mean? But yeah, wow. Okay, that was kind of deep. Ooh, I like this one. Do our lives exist entirely in reality, or are they made up of our own constructions? Both. because life is how you perceive it. Like your reality is how you perceive it, but there are things that are out of your control, right? That
Yeah.
dictate how your life ends up or what you experience on a day-to-day basis. Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly.
What do
Yeah,
you
I like
think?
that.
I'm talking too much. You have to,
Well,
you have to
I
take
like-
over.
Read it again.
Do our lives exist entirely in reality, or are they made up of our own constructions? I feel like, yeah, it's both. I think it's both. You're struggling on this one?
It's too much.
Okay, we'll just keep going. Like when I was 15, I don't think I was thinking about
Yeah.
stuff. Well, okay. With that said, I think
Well, like you've also like learned so much since you were 15. Like
when I was 15, I think I thought about stuff like this way too often. To be honest with you, that I tried to push it away, so I didn't actually.
you
have
can't
to,
push it away. Like
So
I mean, like you could push it away.
Well, it's like so I didn't have to actually come to terms with like.
because it's a lot to
Like,
come to terms with. It's just like
yeah, especially when you're younger. Like there would be times where I was just. I've had problems with like depersonalization. I don't know if I ever talked about this with you. Like, do you know what depersonalization is?
No.
It's kind of like when you look at yourself in the mirror and you don't recognize yourself. It's kind of like an out of body experience. Have you ever had that before?
maybe.
It's like,
maybe.
I feel like I've been having it's like deja vu type thing where it's like an out of body like, oh, I've been here
You feel
before.
like a weird- Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
different because it's like you're looking at yourself and it's like,
You don't recognize
oh,
yourself.
that's me. Like this is my.
You're like, oh yeah,
You
I've
know what
definitely
I mean?
had that. Yeah,
and
yeah.
I've had that before.
Where
and
you're like,
yeah.
yeah.
And
Ew.
the way I
Ew.
deal with that recently is like I kind of realized like, okay, I'm not. It's weird. Like I'm thinking of myself as just like my soul, which is weird to put at it, but like my body is just like a vessel for my deeper inner thoughts. Like everybody's just given a body. Like you don't get to choose. But it's what you make of it.
Yeah.
Like you could say physically, you could say mentally, but it's like what you make of your life is what comes out of it. And then some people are just put it like natural setbacks, like if you're really short or really tall or like
yeah.
this and that.
But that's just like what it is.
But you
gotta
have to make
deal
the
with
best
it.
out
Yeah.
of your circumstances. And I think that related to the question. Yeah. Okay. We'll just keep going with that. We'll just bang these out. This might be a
Okay,
little
yeah.
shorter episode because I don't want to get down this rabbit hole too deep because like I could talk about this for hours and hours and hours. But
I've definitely had like experiences like that where I like don't
Yeah,
recognize myself.
like,
in
I'll
it.
just be
or
like,
you
what?
think and you're like you're like I'm a person and I was like you're like have a conscious like that freaks me out. How
I've
like
been dealing with that a lot recently.
Yeah.
Just like what?
I do
Just
that sometimes when you're
what?
like in like a setting, like a social setting. Like sometimes at school, I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
And I like kind of have like a little bit of like a
Yeah, I hate doing that in
zone
social
out, yeah.
settings.
Yeah,
I kinda
it's-
just, like oh
when there's like
God.
people around you.
trying to have a
just-
good time, and I'm like,
Yeah,
what is
and
life?
you're just like, what? yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And sometimes it gets triggered by something. Sometimes it's just like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like if I don't know, seeing like there's a lot of homeless people here, so seeing a homeless person that makes you think like,
What?
oh, I'm pretty lucky.
Yeah.
I wonder what like led to his life to be like that. And then I'm like, well, like what leads any of us anywhere?
Yeah. Like,
anywhere.
why are we here? Yeah.
I feel like I might look back at this episode and be like, wow, I was really fake deep. Like I actually like not fake deep, but like I just feel like I have so many unanswered questions, and I feel like I have answers for them, and I really don't.
But, like, can you really have an answer? Like, you can't really prove an answer. Like,
yeah, no, you can't prove any
you
of
just
this.
gotta do like your own
Ooh,
thing.
this one's cool. I haven't read these ones yet. So, do people exist before they are born? Oh, I don't know,
Dude.
Nah, you know what? I don't know. I'm gonna say I don't know.
Yeah,
on
let's
that one.
move
You guys
on.
at home can answer
Before
that
they're
one.
born.
I'm gonna say I don't know. Because then you talk about abortion and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
let's not get into that.
Okay. Whoa. What is more real? How you perceive yourself or how others perceive you?
How
I'd
you
say
perceive
how
yourself.
you perceive yourself.
Definitely.
But they're both real. People perceive you in a way. I think, but how you perceive yourself dictates how you believe others perceive
How?
you.
Yeah, exactly. Like what you make of yourself is like what you project out into the world,
Yeah.
and people's reactions to that is like up to them.
Sure.
I think.
Yeah.
I don't think that should like matter to you.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I'll ask one more of these, and then I'll get into like the questions I ask everybody in the podcast. Which I'm gonna start doing that, guys. I'm gonna ask people the same questions, like the same 3 or 4 questions to everybody, like at the end of their session. What? And then therapy.
Therapy is literally therapy.
I don't know where that came from, but okay, whatever. We'll do one more. Is it scary to think that we are the most advanced form of life in the universe, or that we could be among the least advanced forms of life? I like to think we're kind of in the middle. Like there's some that are super advanced, and then there's some that are like kind of lower. And you ask like, well, are the lower ones like, do they even offer anything? So if we're the lowest, do we even offer anything to the universe? And then does it matter if we offer anything?
It's kind of weird because you think of like, I think about this whenever I kill a bug. Like you think that they don't have like a purpose.
Every time I torture a bug to death, I think.
Not of them, but like think like.
Every time I cut off his head.
No.
Cam Quinn posted something on Instagram the other day. It was like wasp parts for sale.
What?
It wasn't his. It was like a meme, and it was just like the legs and the body and the head. It was like I was like, Cam. It was like a meme. It was like a wasp. It was like a fake Craigslist post.
Yeah.
Anyway, what were you saying? Like,
well, because you think that they're like so like little, but like they have like their. Well, I don't really know, but like they have like their own minds.
They have something, yeah.
They have families.
They're alive.
They're like living.
Well, it's like in BTI, and because the internet, where he talks about the spider, and the spider is like when in the screenplay he talks about like he's about to kill himself or he's going to attempt suicide, and then these spiders are like talking to him, and they're like, he wants to kill a spider. He sees a spider in a room, and he wants to kill it. Then he thinks, oh, is his family going to miss him? Like, what happens to the spider when he dies? But what he's really thinking about it himself because he wants to kill himself.
He like, which is interesting. The spider's like a symbolization for him.
Yeah. So, what was I going to say? It's
kind of confusing.
No, it is confusing, and I really don't fully understand it, but I love it.
Nah.
Like, I love that stuff. If you guys haven't listened to Because Internet and read the screenplay,
it's crazy.
Please do, especially if you like this type of deep stuff. It's so good.
And it's just like good music. Like even if you don't want to get like deep into it.
Sonically, yeah, it's like amazing music, yeah.
But what I was saying is like there's like the food chain where there's like the more important things and like the stronger things, but like we don't know that we're at the top of it. Like, do we really know that?
You're talking
like
about in the universe?
Yeah, not like the food chain, but like if you think of like the
just we don't know enough about as far as we know enough about
life
like
other things.
But that kind of makes me think of there's a phrase that it's like thinking about the actions of God is like is an ant thinking about the actions of you or something like that, where it's like an ant trying to comprehend why we do what we do. As far as we know, we don't know. They can't even like begin to comprehend.
Yeah.
They're just working. They're just working and doing what they're doing, and they're just
like
programmed to do what they do.
That's just like us.
And then you could argue like, oh, well, humans are kind of like that too, and maybe we're just so selfish, and you have this naivete where it's like, oh, well, we're humans, like we can do so much, and we're a little ant, like stupid little, I'm gonna kill you.
It's weird because. It's like you know how in Legoland how they just like get up and like I was talking about this in my English class, but like they go and they just do the same thing every day. It's like a dystopia. It's like that
episode of SpongeBob.
Yeah,
where he's normal.
Yeah.
He's normal.
He just goes into a routine, does the same thing every day.
And that's like what's the word? That's like supposed to like mirror like it's supposed to be like a representation of like us, like humans.
But like it is like we all go into like a routine every day, and we like do the same things.
Humans
like we don't
really
do the same things.
And yeah, and we all kind of have the same goals. Like we want to be satisfied, we want to be happy. Like there's no human who actually like is at least born like wanting to like be like I don't know, wanting to not be happy. You know what I mean? Like we kind of have the same general idea, and then life kind of throws.
I think satisfaction is like a good word for that.
Yeah, I say like, fulfillment is.
People say like happiness is like the goal, but like
you can't. Well, happiness is like I feel like happiness is temporary. Fulfillment is relatively permanent.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like those questions. Okay, I'll ask you these life ones. I asked Sam these same questions, but where do you see yourself in 3 to 5 years?
I didn't want you to ask me this.
I know, but just
3
think
to 5.
About it. 3 to 5 years,
18,
you'll be my age. So 18, going on to college, or maybe you'll do a post-grad year like myself. Who knows?
I'm definitely gonna have to go to college. I always like change how I feel. Like how I'm gonna feel is probably gonna be different in like a week. Like where I want to go to college.
We're all so young.
Like every day, I like go through like a different like phase of like what I want to do because I think about it a lot, and I don't know if I want to go. I'm gonna go to college, but like I don't know what I'm gonna do there.
You don't know what you're gonna study.
I don't know where I'm gonna
get, like,
live.
A dance scholarship, or even if you want to dance, who knows if you want to dance? Like I know you're good at dance, but like, are you good enough to make a career out of it?
Or do I want to make a career?
Yeah,
out of it?
or
Like
do you
with the
want
money?
to?
Like
it's hard.
I definitely want to like have
the arts is a tough business to get into.
Yeah.
Unless you're a podcaster like myself, I consider that
I really like music though. I love watching videos about how like music is made.
Music production.
Yeah.
That's what I hung out with Sam today. Him and his brother do music production out here. That's why they moved out here to LA.
That's sick. I think that's so cool. And I also want to travel a lot.
I want to travel too.
I want to travel alone though.
I want to come back to California. I want to move out here. There's so much pop. Like I know most of the people watching this you guys are from New Hampshire, like our area. California is just the wavelengths, dude.
There's so much inspiration.
I'm not a big energy guy, but I am because like the energy out here is just so different.
You, like, don't even realize it, but you're just like happier.
Yeah,
not like happier, but just
like
You just
Bro,
like,
every day is 72 and sunny.
yeah.
Everybody's doing their own thing,
Yeah.
but they're all like dressed up and like look like they're like, oh, I'm doing like everybody
They
looks
just
like they're
seem
important.
like they have like a good mindset
And
to life, and they like
everybody-
have a good approach.
Yeah, and you know, I'm sure a lot of that's a facade where it's like I want people to think I'm happy. I want people to think I got my shit together, but
Yeah.
realize I'm actually living in like a $1,200 apartment,
Yeah.
struggling to pay rent. Like, but other people do have their shit together. But that's where LA and like New York, that's where you're supposed to figure it out. That's where
Yeah.
you're supposed to like, this is the place to be to chase your dreams and
Yeah.
at least do it. Like the people out here are chasing their dreams for the most part, unless they like already lived out here already. But yeah, most of the people just have bigger mindsets. What's your biggest goal in life?
I don't know.
I'll tell you to. I don't know. I
What's
couldn't tell
yours?
you.
Like,
I
what's
was
yours?
trying to say
Yeah.
I can't tell. I couldn't tell you my biggest goal in life.
I really, this isn't it, but I've been thinking about this a lot. 2 cats. I want 2 cats. I really, really like cats, and I want to like
I want
own
a cat
my
named
pets.
Jermaine.
I want a
Jermaine
cat
the
named Denzel and Maria.
I want
Those
a
are my
dog named
2.
Chancellor and a cat named Jermaine.
Chancellor, what kind of dog?
I don't know. One that goes
I
ruff.
want.
One that barks and one that eats food.
I want to get a cool car and name it Shark, and I want to get a dog and name it Wolf.
Okay.
I'd like imagine like a really
Wolf.
cool car and
I'm gonna
naming
name
it
my
Shark.
kid Spike, and I'm gonna name my other kid Bruce. and
Penny.
We're gonna just fucking lift weights all day. Mom, you want to get in here and answer some questions? Grace, you want to just come
I'll
in
sit on the
middle?
floor.
Yeah, and then Mom, you can just sit right here. We got some existential questions. Wait, what were the good ones? Oh, does life have a purpose, Mom?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it all depends on what you're hoping to get out of life, I think.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of what I said. Like, if you give it a purpose, it has a purpose.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a good one. So this one says, are our lives fated? If so, can we truly have free will? Fated being like,
Yeah.
is it dictated by fate?
I have no idea.
I don't know either. This is just.
I know. There was times in your
I'm glad
life.
I don't either. Like,
I
I don't
know.
want to know.
But you also have times in your life where you're like, how can that not be fate? But then you think it could be just coincidence.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And that's totally right. I agree with that. Oh, this one's good. We didn't talk about this one. Is life made stronger by hardship? What would our lives be like without hardships?
Yeah. I mean, I think that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Sure.
So, I mean, if your life is easy all the time from birth, what will you do when something doesn't go well?
Yeah, I think like life inevitably will bring you hardship, different amounts for different people, or like different. Yeah, but like
It's
That-
true.
that rude car
And
interrupting
what's
our
hard?
podcast.
How hard is hard? Because some people might think
It's all
something-
perspective,
It's
right?
all perspective, right? So some people might think a broken fingernail is a hardship,
Right.
and other people realize it's when
eating
they,
food my next
what they
meal.
have to feed their children.
Yeah, and that's why when people are like, athletes are talking about mental health and stuff, and then people are just like, you make $20 million. Why are you complaining about mental health? It's like, it's all relative. Like, it's all put in perspective. Like, he's a human being. I don't care if he makes $20 million.
Yeah.
Like, if his mother died, he's allowed to be sad.
Yeah.
I know, but people say that. People say that on Twitter and stuff. But is there a difference between living and existing?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I think people can go from day to day and not having much.
Just trying to get by.
Yeah, just trying to get by, and they're just living.
Yeah.
They're living their day.
Doing
and
what they
then
have to do.
In doing what they have to do, then some people are just existing and not really putting, what's positive out into the world, or, trying to make
purpose.
things better.
Yeah.
Either for themselves or their family or other people.
Yeah. No, I feel like, once again, like, there's times where I feel like I'm just existing, where it's like, I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. Whereas, like, living, like, we were at the Grand Canyon, I'm like, oh, this is, like,
Life.
This is, like, this is, like, a bucket list thing. Like,
Yeah.
But not every day can be a bucket list day,
Right,
Like, or
right.
else, like, it wouldn't be a bucket list day. So,
And I also think at different points in your life means different things. Like you're a young adult, so the way you go about living your life is a little bit different than my daily life.
right, and our motivations are completely different.
Absolutely.
By the way, my mom just retired. Big round of applause
Yay.
to Mom, yeah. Yeah, my mom just retired, which is fantastic. So I think I have a good question for speaking. So on that same token, I feel like I have a good question. So Where do you see yourself in 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, so part of
Wow,
part of the reason that I wanted to be able to retire is so I could have time to think about it. Because when I was 19 years old, faced with being a mom and just needing to survive and get us through, I didn't have a lot of opportunities. And then since then, had you two, so I haven't had a lot of opportunities to think about what will make me happy. What
Right.
will my next 3 to 5 years? I mean, initially my next 3 to 5 years is to get you guys through high school, through into college, through college.
And when she's out, you're free.
Exactly. So then it's going to be my turn to figure out, okay, what is my next chapter?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, like, Ryan was 16 when I was born. So you kind of almost got through Ryan's teenage years. But then you didn't because you had a kid.
Right.
And then I was 4 and Ryan was 20 when Grace
Yeah.
was born. So
Right.
it's like Ryan was off doing her
We
thing.
started all over again.
I was a toddler, but I wasn't a baby, and then we had a baby. So
Yeah.
it's like, and then since you really messed it all up. If I see once I was gone, it'd be like, Mom's free. She retired. She's free. And then you had to show up.
Well,
No, that was a good thing.
I don't know.
No. I'm happy.
she didn't
I'm
have a
glad.
choice.
It wasn't you. No, I know. No, I'm glad you're here. You're a podcast guest. I mean, you're immortalized forever. So that's kind of cool. All right.
Thank you.
Last one. What's your biggest goal in life?
Oh, my biggest goal in life, it's hard not to internalize your goals onto your children's goals. As a parent, your biggest pride is your kids. So, that's where, I see my worth.
But okay, that was pretty good. Do you have anything else you want to add to the podcast? I think we're going to wrap it up.
I think the podcast is great. I think what you guys are talking about and what you've talked about in your previous podcasts really can connect with people in different ways in how it could really help them in a way, and touch something in each of them. So I think
Yeah, it's kind of like
I love it.
Yeah, thank you. That's kind of like the motivation behind it. Like show people like, first of all, like you're not alone in certain thoughts, or like we're all just kind of figured out. We're all uncommitted. We're all
Yes.
we're all uncommitted. No, but like actually though, like it's so, and then people can relate to it and be like, and also I want people to be like, oh, like I want to make a podcast, and this kid I know bought $50 microphones.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Let me go make music, or let me go
Yeah.
do this, and then that's like what I want out of it.
Yeah, no,
I don't know if I'm there
definitely.
yet, but
Get some
eventually.
confidence.
Yeah, eventually. I hope. Like I get messages sometimes from kids, especially kids like I know personally. They're like, "Oh, like that's cool. Like it kind of inspired me to like, not like I'm not saying I'm making some huge impact, but like a few kids have been like, "Oh, you inspired me to like do my social media stuff because I see you're doing it."
Yeah.
And like you're not really caring about like if it's like not good or whatever.
Right.
Like you're just kind of doing it because it's what you want to do. And I think that's the motivation behind it.
It's one of those things where people say if it helps one person,
Right.
it's helping, and it makes you feel good.
But all right, Mom, thank you so much for being
You're
on the
welcome.
podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so I'll let Grace take over, and we'll do a little wrap up. All right, so that was my mom, as I mentioned a few times, and this is my sister, as I also have mentioned a few times, and this is the Uncommitted Podcast. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed. Anything you want to add? Anything you want to plug? Anything you want to say?
Follow me on Instagram.
At whatever it is, I'll put it up right
Yeah.
here. So, all right, guys, thank you for watching the podcast. If you stay to the end, what emoji should they comment?
The little face, like the one, like the fake one, like the disguise.
Oh, the disguise.
With the
Okay,
little
yeah.
nose.
Comment the disguise emoji. Like
I like
it's
that
like
one.
the joke glasses
Yeah.
one. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. It was kind of a chiller episode, but I think I think it's good. I think I'm excited to kind of look back at this in a few years and be like, oh, this is how Grace thought. This is how I thought. This is how Mom thought.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you guys are new, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next week on Saturday. I think Saturday at 7 p.m. is the day. That's like going to be the thing now. So I'll see you guys then.
Bye.
Peace.